There's a trick that gamers know that can help you edit your podcast faster. Today we're going to talk about that. What's happening, podcasters? I'm Brian Ensminger. I'm a podcaster and a podcast editor, and I want to see you be successful with your podcast. And part of that is, if it's taking you a long time to edit your show, you might want to find ways to do it faster. Today we're going to talk about a gaming trick that can help you edit your podcast faster. This is how I'm able to produce my shows plus multiple client shows every week while I'm also working full-time. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, and I'm also going to show you how I have it set up and a little bit of the secret sauce. So what's the little trick that gamers know? They know that access to the things that you use the most often or that you do the most often quickly is going to help you win. In other words, whoever mashes the keys fastest wins, or at least the right keys. And that's why they make things like what I'm going to show you today for gamers. They make programmable mice for gamers, and we can use those to speed up our podcast editing as well. I'm going to show you about this little bad boy. This is something that I picked up to help me. It's not important that it's that specific mouse, but I'm going to show you why this is important, because if you're able to edit faster without sacrificing quality, you can use the time that you save on other things. For example, improving some other aspect of your show, or spreading the word about your show, or maybe going to dinner with your family, or whatever it is that you like to do. So here's what I did, and I'm going to recommend that you consider doing the same. I went out and got a gaming mouse with programmable buttons. I showed it to you before, but it's this one. It's the Logitech G602. I was looking for a mouse that had a bunch of buttons because I thought there were a lot of things that I wanted to program it with, but I also needed to make it sure that it was compatible with my Apple computer, because some of these programmable mice aren't compatible, and specifically the mouse might be compatible, but maybe the software that controls what all the buttons do isn't compatible or isn't as accessible. And so that was important to me, and I didn't want to take any big risks, so I went with a brand that I knew. There are probably other brands that would have worked fine and might have cost less, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to do that. So I was looking for something with a lot of buttons. I wanted somewhere between 12 and 15 buttons because there are a number of things that I do the most often. However, what I discovered really was that I only needed like 3 or 4 of the extra buttons. But once I got it, then I programmed the mouse with the most common keyboard shortcuts for my software and my workflow, and you'll do the same thing for whatever software that you use and whatever workflow that you have. In my case, I work with Hindenburg. The keyboard shortcuts are predefined for that, so I set those up. But then the secret sauce is in the software, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to open up the Logitech gaming software. It's actually open on my computer all the time, and it's really pretty simple. You've got a picture of your mouse, and this also controls my camera, but we're not worried about that. And if I click on the mouse buttons, I can see exactly how I have it set up. So as expected, the left button, the middle click button for button 3, and then the right click button for button 2, just like a regular mouse would be set up. But then I've got these other buttons that were programmed previously for other things, and I just set them up to be the most common shortcuts. So this one right here that's always next to my index finger is the X. In Hindenburg, that's the delete and remove silence, or you might know it as a ripple delete in other software. In this one is the Control Z. And in Hindenburg, I don't have to hit the Control, I just hit the Z and it undoes it. And then these 2 buttons make the 4 that I use the most often. So delete, undo, and then, because I undo a lot, the period actually is in Hindenburg. That will allow me to reset the playback speed from either 1x or to whatever other speed I'd like. In my case, I usually work between 1 and 2 times speed, so I can toggle that very quickly. So if I'm going through and I'm listening for things and I see something coming up that I think might need some attention, I can toggle it back down to 1x speed, listen to that, and then toggle it back up, and then the delete key. So these are the 4 that I use the most often. I've got the others programmed as well, but one thing that I discovered after I got this programmed was it was hard to remember what all of the buttons did. But these are the ones that I use the most often. I've got some others programmed, and that is the secret sauce. You get a programmable gaming mouse, and you program the stuff that you do the most often where you can remember what it is. So if I were to make a recommendation to myself 6 months ago, I would recommend getting a mouse with the regular 3 buttons plus at least 4 extras. So as many as 4. And you can do your own research to find out which one is the best. But if you do this, you're going to be able to edit faster without sacrificing quality because you're not going to have to move your hands around on the keyboard. You're not going to have to look down to make sure you're in the right spot. You'll know because your mouse is right there what you're going to do. Then you'll save time and you'll be able to use that for other things. If you don't already have a gaming mouse, I'd recommend that you look into something like that today. And if you liked this video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and then share it with somebody that you think might benefit from it. If you'd like to connect with me personally, you can find me at toptieraudio.com. That's where you're going to find links to my social profiles, a way to email me, a way to book a consultation, or to talk to me about launching or editing your show. You'll find more videos like this, as well as a way to subscribe to my podcast, 1000 Podcasters. Thanks so much for watching. Now go out there and make a great podcast.